ultimate tournament of everything.
Welcome to the Ultimate Tournament of Everything, the 52nd episode.
No one thought that we'd make it here, but yet here we be, despite the odds and despite ourselves.
Yeah, really, we were the main issue between success or failure of this podcast. It was us and us alone that were the problem. So if there's something going on and you're like, that person's the problem, just remember, it's probably us.
That's right. And you could be us, but we could be you as well. So why don't we just be ourselves and get down to what it is that we do best here?
Now, once we figure out what that is, we'll tell you, but we're going to start with the podcast in the meantime.
Round one.
Maybe it's transitions. Or not. In this very first round, we have Bandina in Langbam against Kukran Pyre Kai Asbai Naikahani.
That we do. We're back in action and off to the races with this first round full of mouthfuls of individuals. Let's learn all about these two.
Well, I do believe that our first two competitors are both Indian. And Bandini Anglambam is an Indian writer, poet, and artist. She is from Manipur, and among her comprehensive comparative analytical works is The Homosexual and Invisible Being, Comrade Love, in the select fiction of the Rohingya Mystery and Amsgosh is a notable one. Besides herself being a writer, she is also becoming a matter of inspiration to many other artists and writers, including Bollywood actress Kangana Ranaut, as well as Dr. Joshayak. Is that how you pronounce KH? Just
I don't begin to assume. Currently, however, Bodina is pursuing her specialization studies in the United States of America. Now, Bodina Elangbaum was born in Impal, Manipur. She grew up inheriting both the Meitei and Mao cultural heritages from her two parents. Her cross-cultural bondings are seen to be reflected in her poetic work. Since childhood, Bodina has had a passion for painting, writing short stories and poems. Her first publication of poetry, entitled Between the Poet and Her Pencil, was released in 2016. The forwarding of the poetry was done by Bollywood actress Kangera Ranaut, who is her childhood school friend.
When you said both Mai Tai and Mao, I got very confused. Because I'm like, wait a second. Then I realized I don't know what that means. And then I saw the spelling, and I definitely don't know what that means. So there you go. I learned something. That's never a bad thing.
Well, we've learned one thing thus far. Let's learn about the other thing that we have in this round. That is round one. We have Kuch Rang Pyar Ke Ice B Nai Kahani. This means, in English, Shades of Love. New story. It's an Indian Hindi language romantic drama television series which started airing on the 12th of July in 2021 on Sony Entertainment Television, starring Erica Fernandez, Shahir Sheikh, and Supriya Pingaonkar.
Now, not only is this a show, but it's a sequel. It's the sequel to Kuch Rang Pyar Kai SB. It is the third season of the same series. Post Leap, the show is about the journey of the characters to their maturation. Some of the highlights are understanding, realizations, character developments, and a matured edition of the reunion of separated lovers. The series ended on November 12th, 2021. I have a feeling that this is either translated directly from an Indian article or someone who actually speaks Hindi wrote this in English, in which case, good job, you know one more language than I know, although the phrasing is a little weird.
I have a feeling that this show is something of an Indian Boy Meets World for our American lay listeners here. There's a whole explanation of the plot, but I'm not going to lie to you, it's quite long, and shoot, it'd probably ruin it anyways. So let's just jump into a few of the episodes here, picking at random. We've got episode 9, which was entitled Puja for Ayush, in which Dev and Sonakashi were about to leave for Mr. Sharma's, but Iswari holds a puja for Ayush at home and urges them to attend.
Well, don't forget the wonderfulness that is episode 10, Mutual Misunderstanding. Suhana gets upset when Ayush breaks her favorite mug. And Sonakshi tries to open up in front of Dev, but will he understand her feelings? You're right, it is like Boy Meets World.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Most probably culminating in the famous episode 83, Privar ki Takat. Of course, I don't have to tell you, but Dev and Sonakshi reveal their secret plan to defeat Sunjana. Sonakshi meets up with Sunaja's ex-boyfriend to find out more about her past.
Well,
And
hang
then, of course, we all know how that ends.
hang on. I said Boy Meets World, but now that I'm reading more descriptions, it might be more of a soap opera because in episode 90, Sanyana gets caught red-handed trying to end Baijoy's life. Okay, that's like a murder thing. I think it's a soap opera. Now we could go on forever, but as Wikipedia has told us, the very top of this article, there's a little broom and it says this article's plot summary may be too long or excessively detailed, to which I agree.
Yes, but we followed in suit in our description of it, as was only appropriate. And now we find ourselves at the decision point of the round. Who are we going to choose as our supreme competitor here in this inaugural round of episode 52?
I think I have to go with the PhD in English literature, Bandina Nglangabam.
I think we should. I'm all about that, and let's wrap it up with her very own words in an exclusive interview with Bodina Angbam by the Morning Express. When asked about how she connected the two fields of being a poet and a painter, she said, "See, my poems are about life and the various occurrences one experiences in life. My painting, again, is about the varied elements in life, the different emotions, and various other aspects of life. Life, in its essence, connects the two in one or the other way. It is intertwined." As are these two characters, or competitors. However, Bodina, you are the one with the different emotion of happiness, for you are the winner here in round one of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
I really hope that none of these people listen to our podcast because they're going to go, that's not how my name is pronounced. And you're right. It's probably not. And I'm sorry.
Well, they might just be happy to hear their names. So let's find two other people who might be happy to have their names heard in round two.
It's time for round two.
In round two, we have the Cougar Mountain Zoo against Scott Gordon. Not any Scott Gordon, the Canadian football player, Scott Gordon.
Definitely. Two competitors in this round that can lay it down on the field. Cougar Mountain Zoo. Normally, you'd have more than just one animal in a zoo. We'll see if that holds true for this one. And Scott Gordon, he's got two first names. Let's see if that's enough for a win in this round.
Cougar Mountain Zoo is an 11-acre nonprofit zoological park located in Issaquah, Washington on the north slope of Cougar Mountain, about 15 miles east of Seattle. It is located near the border of the Cougar Mountain Regional Wildland Park, and the zoo focuses on endangered species including lemurs from Madagascar, Bengal tigers, and endangered birds from various parts of the world.
This zoo was founded in 1972 by Peter and Marcy Riddler, who operated it admission free for its first 15 years. In 1990, the founders donated it to the Zoological Society of Washington, which assumed the zoo's management and fundraising endeavors. And as of 2009, Peter Riddler continued in the zoo's management.
Well, zoos are expensive, so it's a good thing that somebody is trying to manage it and raise money for it. Now, the zoo collection features exhibits concentrating on endangered species such as tigers, lemurs, wolves, reindeer, cranes, wallabies, macaws, and cougars, among others. How sad is it that there are that many endangered animals and I only listed like 1/100th of all the endangered animals? Now, on June 16, 2007, the zoo acquired two male Bengal tiger cubs, a royal white and a golden, who were born 8 weeks apart in the Florida Tiger Preserve. Florida has a tiger preserve?
It's got a whole bunch. There's probably a whole bunch of tiger kings and queens still living down there in the Wild West. That's down there in the East. Now, this zoo added an additional two cubs in 2009, and a glass walled tunnel called the Tiger Tunnel enables visitors to view tigers in close proximity from a safe vantage point. In 2011, a 370-pound tiger was photographed holding its paw up to the glass to meet the hand of a small child appearing to play patty cake resulting in a picture that was picked up by the news services of the area and basically not a great meal for that tiger.
Yeah, it's like that prison scene. He's holding his hand up, and the kid's holding his hand up. He's like, "Don't worry, Dad. One day we'll break you out of this tiger tunnel prison. Maybe."
They probably won't.
Yeah,
Plus,
he
it's
probably wouldn't.
illegal.
Yeah, well, that okay. It's not technically kidnapping, and it's not
It's
technically
catnapping.
a.
No, no, but a catnap is a completely different
I hear
thing.
those are lovely. Okay,
Maybe
Scott,
this is a
we got
legal loophole.
this is why we should record the show more often. We get so distracted. Okay, Scott Gordon, football player, born February 21st, 1977 in Ottawa, Ontario. Most recently played for the Edmonton Eskimos of the CFL in 2009 and retired from professional football in 2010.
Now, a retired professional football player is only the second most safe football player. Of course, the safest of which is the safety, the position that this particular individual occupied on the field. He did so while playing CIS football for the Ottawa GGs, winning the Veneer Cup in 2000, and junior football for the Ottawa Junior Raiders Riders, that is, in Quebec Junior Football League. So he was a former professional, but I guess he was playing as a child as well. Never made the NFL though. CFL, Kurt Warner did that.
Never made it. Now, hang on. He does have a Canadian Super Bowl ring. So that's pretty good. He is a champion from the 95th Grey Cup, which, as everyone knows, is the championship game of the Canadian Football League. So there you go.
Alrighty, this guy
Yeah.
was definitely successful. We don't have many stats here. He was drafted in the second round. I would like to know more about the specifics of his professional career, but alas, alack and alay, it is not before us.
So Canadians are very modest, so they wouldn't call it the Super Bowl. It's like the all right, okay, we played football bowl, eh? What do you think?
And
they call it?
everybody gets a ring
Yeah,
at the end of it.
they just play for fun. They give the awards out at the beginning, and then they just play for fun. That's probably why their ratings are so bad.
Well, yeah, it might be great. I bet they have wonderful halftime shows. But here we are at that important half juncture of the round, and we have evaluated initially both of these contestants. We've got Scott Gordon and Cougar Mountain Zoo. Rob, who you leaning towards here?
One's a champion, and one's kind of in an animal prison. But it's an animal prison that is needed, and they do a lot of important work. But it's still kind of sad, but at the same time, kind of cool. I'm conflicted about zoos, is what I'm saying. I'm going for the zoo.
Yeah, I'm probably going with the zoo
Yeah.
too. I mean, Canada's not that far. He could have just come down here and probably played in the NFL. You know, that's the value of travel.
Yeah, he probably wasn't, dare I say, good enough.
I'm not sure. And you know what? I'm sure that he and his mom would probably disagree. And he is good enough. In fact, we all are, but not always to win our rounds here in the ultimate turn of everything, just like Cougar Mountain Zoo has done this time. Moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
I don't mean to upset any of our wonderful competitors. You're all wonderful. You just can't all be winners right now. I'm sorry. It is a tournament of literally everything. And so someone must lose. And today it was a Canadian footballer. And for that, I'm sorry.
Yes, but maybe he'll have a chance to go and put his hand up against some glass and be mere millimeters away from something that could and would certainly enjoy to rip its face clean off. So let's see if we have such vicious competitors in the next round, round 3.
Gosh, I hope not.
It's time for round 3.
In round 3, we have John Vander Puy against Petrosticus Hapaugius.
All right, we've got two very ground focused individuals here. We've got a Gold Coast merchant. Well, I guess perhaps not gold, but some old guy who was oh my, that's going to be interesting. Won't spoil nothing. Versus what I'm going to guess is the coolest of all beetles. Let's see how this pans out.
John Vander Puy was a Gold Coast merchant, newspaper publisher, traditional ruler, and politician. Between 1894 and 1904, he was appointed a member of the Legislative Council and was also instrumental in the reintroduction of the Anglican Communion and English Freemasonry to the colony. He also lobbied the British colonial government to have greater African representation in the civil service in the late 19th century.
Just getting not great dude vibes off of this one so far, but hey, you can't judge a book by its cover. Let's jump a little bit in here, shall we? John Vander Puig, is that what we're going with? Was born in Ushertown, Accra, on the 18th of March, 1848, to his parents in the royal house of somebody at Hubolhome or Otu's quarters. He had grandparents as well, and they are named here. He became a general commodities merchant after completing his education. He was also involved in the cocoa trade. For a time, he was active in commerce in the eastern banks of the Volta River among the Anlo-U people. And as his trade expanded, the paramount chief of Anlo traditional area made him one of the emissaries by the British governor William Branford Griffith, who ruled the Gold Coast at various points between 1885 and 1894.
That's quite the name, isn't it?
It is indeed.
So I'm trying to. It sounds like he was, I guess, a fine guy. It's interesting because it's colonizing, right? Which not great, and it sounds like he was kind of as about any of them were, I would imagine.
Is that your hot take of the night, Rob? Colonization, not great.
You hear that, England? You hear me? Give all that art back. It's stolen. Let's
okay,
talk.
but a successful businessman who is doing all sorts of things like that down there. Let's see, he campaigned against the land bills that would have expropriated indigenous land that was hitherto governed by the land tenure system. A coalition of local newspapers coordinated opposition to the bill. Yeah, I mean, looks like he wasn't entirely beloved by everybody. But you know who is entirely beloved by everybody?
Is it this species of woodland beetle in the family Caribidae?
You are darn tootin' right. Pterostychus hypogeus. You are a beetle, as stated previously, found in North America of the family Caribidae, which we love to say. And unfortunately, that's all we know about you. But I'm imagining what you look like, and gosh, what a beetle!
Yeah, there's not a picture, but I got to imagine that there's probably some type of horn appendage you have. You live in the woods, which is a wonderful decision. That's a great choice. You're in North America, so that's good. It doesn't say anything about you being invasive to North America, so you're a natural, lovely, probably very quaint woodland beetle.
Well, that's actually a fair point because John over here, Big J, he was a little bit invasive, one way or the other. Whatever he was doing. And I also went a little off campus here, and I googled a picture of the beetle that we're talking about, and I gotta say, rad looking beetle. It's got like it's got a corduroy back. It's got sleek, dare I say, well, no, I won't. But it's got some sweet legs, and those antennae for days do not quit.
I don't understand what you Googled the second you said corduroy back. I'm not going to Google him. Anyway, we have to pick a winner. And while the colonizer seems like a nice dude, I think I have to go with the bug.
Oh, yep. It's not going to bug me one bit to throw this beetle down. Gosh, if I could choose one beetle in the world to be, it would not be John Paul or Ringo. It would be this one. For this one is moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
You left out a beetle. Can't believe you.
Nah, that one. It wasn't a real beetle.
There are no other
If you were a
beetles.
real fan, you'd know that.
There are no other beetles.
No, there is one, but they left him in Liverpool before they went on tour.
Mhm.
Anyways, let's get moving on to the very next round. Round 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ah, my round 4 is ready.
Eagle-eared listeners will realize that we have two round 4 round sounds, and that was one of them. Which one the other one is, I don't know, and you'll have to listen more to find out because they just say round 4 here, both of them. I have two buttons that say round 4. Sometimes it surprises and scares me, but that one was filmed in a microwave. Anyway, round 4. In round 4, we have 919 3rd Avenue and Breakfast with Brisbane.
Okay, very good. Two tall standing things, one of which is an office building in New York City, New York. The other is a television program which provided live and recorded coverage of the 1982 Commonwealth Games.
Now, this office building in New York was built in 1971 and located at the intersection of 3rd and East 55th Street in Midtown Manhattan. The building is 615 feet tall with 47 floors and is tied with four other buildings in its position as the 118th tallest building in New York. New York, how tall are all your buildings? You have that many more gigantic buildings. That's crazy.
That's a lot of buildings. And this one, here's a photo here. It is black. It is, not to repeat myself, but also sleek. Um, let's see, a lot of windows. Most every floor is covered with windows on. I'm assuming every side. Now, what's getting me is the little, kind of like bow tie height on by proportion line where it's a little darker. I'm wondering what's going on in that exotic floor.
Probably parking. Yeah, probably parking all the way up on like the 60th floor. It's New York.
Yeah,
It
I
makes
bet.
no
I
sense.
bet.
Okay, so this building is not without some kind of unusual history. It is described as one of the most unusual Manhattan real estate transactions in recent years, at least in the 60s it was. Developers of the new skyscraper decided to build around a 3rd Avenue establishment, and the property owner at the time refused to sell to developers. So they're like, hang on, here's a building. We need this building. We need to build a building here. And he's like, no, you can't. And they're like, don't worry, we'll just build around you. Sounds about right. In December of 1970, the 5th floor suffered a fire, partially destroying part of the floor, injuring 20 and killing 3. The building was then completed that same year, and tenant work was still in progress at the time of the fire. Use of the elevators resulted in 3 fire deaths when the car inadvertently stopped at the floor on fire, and others were almost killed the same way but were rescued by a firefighter. So, okay, when you get in an elevator and they're like, hey, don't use in case of a fire, this is why. I've never given a thought as to why. Well, now we know. You're stuck in a metal box in some flames. Don't do it. Take the stairs.
Yeah, definitely going to want to take the stairs or a magic carpet, which you might have found in this place, because it seems that the building was occupied at the time of the fire principally by carpet manufacturers and carpet wholesalers. And the fire started in occupancy of the type, which I'm guessing means that it was one of the carpet people's faults, but they don't maybe know who. Fire was confined for the most part to a specific area by the fire partitions required and the unpierced horizontal separations. So perhaps this is some architectural things. The fire did warp the exterior skin, allowing a small amount of fire penetration to the floor above, but for the most part, it was contained by the building's structure. So you're building you're building a building. Um, Not only are you repeating yourself, but you're thinking about things such as fires and earthquakes and wind.
I just can't get over how many gigantic buildings there are in New York, but that's okay. I'll have time to mull it over when I watch Breakfast in Brisbane. The television program with an E, which provided live and recorded coverage of the 1982 Commonwealth Games. Now, of course, these are like the Olympics, but not quite. The program was broadcast from around 7 a.m. until around 9 a.m. and was presented by Desmond Lynam with studio analysis of the athletics from Steve Ovett. David Icke presented roundups of the latest games news at 7:30 and 8:30.
Now that's probably David Icke, and I wonder if that's the guy who thinks that reptilians live down in the center of the planet. It might be. I'm not sure. Let's see. We'll hover
I
over
don't,
the.
I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
Is it? No,
Yeah, check him out.
no, come
He's got
on.
some. Yeah, if you think
Oh,
this
yep, that
podcast is
says
interesting.
conspiracy. Yep, okay, you're
I'm
right. You're
saying.
right. Okay.
So hopefully he threw a little bit of those bits in there, but everyone's got to start somewhere. The program also provided regular summaries of national and international news from the BBC newsroom. These bulletins were read by David Cass. And the main focus of this program, however, was to provide live coverage of the athletics, and the first edition of the program was on the opening day of the track and field program, which was programmed programmatically.
Of course it was. Well, this sounds quaint. This sounds like a nice way to get up and have your toast or porridge or I don't know. They
They have
probably
beans for breakfast.
they have what? No, eat some bacon. Come on.
They might have, yeah, it's Frank and beans, but yeah, beans for breakfast. They're all about it. Don't what do they say? Don't ick another person's something or other.
Yeah, no,
They,
I'm sure that's exactly the saying that you can't remember that they use.
it's a British saying, Rob. You wouldn't understand.
You're
That being said, we got to pick a winner here. Are we going to pick this building with a whole bunch of windows, or are we going to pick the window into the soul of the event that was Breakfast with Brisbane?
That's a toughie. I am gonna go with Breakfast with Brisbane on this one.
Me too. I'm definitely psyched about it. I think it was quaint. I'm hoping that David Icke found some of his reptilian friends competing, likely winning. But yeah, I'm all about it. Nothing like breakfast in Britain, and I think this would have been a wonderful way to eat some beans. Breakfast with Brisbane. Gold medal. You're moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
The things we learn on this show. I have so many things that I'd love to click on that next. Not how it works. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll show up, maybe you won't. Such is the randomness of this round. Maybe it'll be as random in round 5.
Round 5.
Round 5.
And it is. In round 5, we have the Abaresh language against Albaikira.
Ah, yes. This round is all about expression. We've got a medium for doing so, a language itself, facing off against a song written by an Italian singer-songwriter, which basically he clearly had something to say. So let's see which one of these messages will resonate strongly enough to move them on to the next round.
Languages do pretty well in the competition, so as for this one, between the 11th and 14th centuries, Albanian-speaking mercenaries from the areas of Albania, Epirus, and now Greece were often recruited by the Franks, Aragonese, Italians, and Byzantines. The invasion of the Balkans by the Ottoman Turks in the 15th century caused large waves of immigration from the Balkans to southern Italy, and in 1448, the King of Naples, Alfonso V of Aragon, asked the Albanian noble Skanderberg to transfer to his service ethnic Albanian mercenaries. Led by Demetrio Reyes and his 2 sons, these men and their families were settled in 12 villages on the Catanzaro area of Calabria.
So yeah, there's a lot of history going on here, but basically, what it comes down to is there was a constant flow of ethnic Albanians into Italy during the 16th century, and other Albanian villages were formed on Italian soil. There were communities; they were kind of living together there in Italy. New immigrants did often take up work as mercenaries with the army, but all of these cultures and things blending together seems to have created a speech community. Let's see, speech community forming part of highly heterogeneous linguistic landscapes of Italy with 12 recognized linguistic minorities. So, seems as though it came from the great soup pot of utterances that was Italy at the time.
I suppose this is interesting. If you love languages, you will love this one. So, for example, the word gizem means joy. That's nice. And grish means invite. That's a fun one.
And ya means eat until stuffed.
Yeah, I can agree with that one. Well,
Yeah.
that's fun. Okay, now is Al Bakira as fun? This is a song recorded. Oh, we have another Italian connection by Italian
Nice.
songwriter Vasco Rossi for his second studio album Non Siamo Mica Gli Americani, and released as a single in 1979.
It was Rossi's first strong commercial success and later became one of his most popular songs among fans.
Now, the song's lyrics were inspired by Giovanna, a 13-year-old girl Rossi used to see at a bus stop on his hometown of Zacco during the late 70s. Rossi was a university student, observed her gaze for a long time, and the song's lyrics also describe an imaginary scene in which, no, this is getting, okay. If you want to read the rest of the article, you can. It's not appropriate for children, so I'll just stop there.
Yeah,
Come on, Italy. What are you doing? This is not okay.
this is like the most. It's pretty. It's
not good.
There's nothing to say.
No,
really.
this is bad.
What's bad is that this became a popular song.
Yeah, it did. This was in 2020.
Somebody get Chris Hansen to the Grammys to pick this guy up.
In 2020, this was voted as the people's favorite song selected by Italian radio stations. Italy, you got a problem. And this
What
is
people.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, I think we can cut this round short and give it to the language. If you want to go look up the article, it'll be in the show notes. I don't recommend it, but hey, good luck.
What's weird? Okay, I was gonna say something's specifically weird about this, but what's weird is the whole story. Every
whole
paragraph
thing.
of this article. Oh gosh. So yeah, way to go. Arberesh language. You had all the right words, the golden tongue, as it were, to get yourself past whatever that was. I don't know how you say great job in Arberesh. I don't even know how you say Arberesh, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. And congratulations for your success. Moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
A little bit of behind the curtain for everybody before we get into round 6 here. These articles are entirely random. We are pulling them up seconds before we introduce them. There's no like, oh, let's pick this one, let's pick that one, let's read them ahead of time. None of that happens. So we are reading them out loud, and a lot of the time reading them out loud to you while going a sentence or two ahead in our own head so we can figure out what to say or whether we should say it. And the one about the Italian song got weirder and weirder, and I'm like, oh no, okay, yep, okay, next one.
Speaking of the next one, why don't we jump into the next round here? Round 6.
Makes a turn around the last curve. He comes around the last side, and there you have it. There is your winner, round 6.
In round 6, we have Levin Thier against Roy Watson, the actor.
Yes, two things which are able to portray themselves exactly as they are, or perhaps not so much. We have a village in Albania facing off against an American actor of the silent era. Let's see which one of these will speak to us here in this round.
We just had an Albanian connection. That's great. Or
Yes, there's a little...
Grish. Is that right? I don't remember anymore, but I know that was one of the words.
Hold on, we can check. But there was joy, which was gizm.
Okay, there we go. That's it.
Yeah, never mind. I was gonna make a gizm joke, but
Don't do
I'm
it.
gonna skip over it.
At the 2015 local government reform, it became a subdivision of the municipality Fier, and the population was 8,159 people. It does not list how many families. There's a very lovely picture. That is about all we know about Levin.
Well, I'm looking at the picture here, and I gotta say, I'm loving Levin. It is a quaint little town, got blue sky. Again, this is a location that from time to time does have clouds going over it.
You're just describing everywhere on Earth. There's occasionally a sky and some clouds.
Well, hey, I love this planet, Rob. But let's zoom in or zoom out just a little bit more. And as we can see here in the overall national geography of Albania, not far from the western coast of, gosh, would that be? It's a large body of water.
Your American tact for geography is showing.
Look, I'm not going to take a stab and say I'm not wrong. By the water, not too far. the really wet water. It's probably in a great place. Probably just like just a quick little car or bike ride all the way down there to the coast to the beach, and you're doing great. It does seem lovely. Yeah, I have no fear of going to a place called Fear.
Well, let's go to someplace we actually know where it's from, and that's where Roy Watson was born, Richmond, Virginia. He began to act on stage in 1895 when he would have been about 19. He went to Hollywood in 1909, and his first work was films with the Selig Company, where he appeared in The Hazards of Helen. Watson was married to and then divorced actress Jane Keckley, and he lived in the McCadden Hotel before moving to a rest home. He died at the Hollywood Hospital in Hollywood, California, June 7th, 1937.
Did live to the ripe age of 60, and seems to have had a pretty successful career. His filmography is listed down here. Of course, everybody has heard of The Count of Monte Cristo, in which he was made an appearance. Also in other films such as The Livid Flame, Why the Sheriff is a Bachelor, Cupid's Roundup, Wolf Blood, and Speeding Hoofs.
You ever think about how strange movie titles are in a vacuum when you know nothing about them?
Did we get to The Trial of the Holdup Man?
See? It's just, they're all Jerry and the Vampire sounds like it could be made now. It's got like Seth Rogen in it, and Tom Cruise is in there, and it's kind of like a weird buddy cop comedy with Jerry and the Vamp. Wait, no, they just made this one with Nicolas Cage. They just did this.
Oh, they did just make that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I'm seeing here a picture of Roy Watson. It's a still from the film Wolf Blood, where Roy Watson is playing Jules Devereaux. And he looks like a stern, just stark individual. He's got a hat on his head. And the picture just loaded a little more, so it's a little clearer now. Looks like a plainsman of sorts. I guess probably playing one. Yep, definitely looks like he would have been an effective silent actor.
Yeah, think of like anything you've ever seen from the Dust Bowl, pictures like that. That's kind of what he looks like. Kind
Yeah.
of stereotypical 1930s guy, jacket.
How did
hat.
I get here?
Yeah.
When will this be over?
Is it going to rain today? That kind of.
Probably not.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Okay, so who's the winner? Levin or Roy?
Roy scares me.
Roy does scare me. Roy looks like, like he's in the X-Files, you'd think. Like he's one of the guys in the X-Files.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, he looks like an individual who looks like they're 60, but is actually about 26, just because of everything that they've experienced and seen. He's got that, I'm getting that vibe off the screen here from him. I'm sure he was a lovely fella.
Yeah, but he's not as lovely as Levin. So I'm going with
Ugh.
Levin.
Lovin'. It's all good. We're loving Levin, and we're moving him on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
You look very pretty, Levin, and I would visit. I really would.
Yeah. Hey, should we do our next episode on location in Albania?
Live in Levin?
Live in the ultimate tournament of everything. Live in 11. I love it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah,
Yeah.
only if someone from Levin calls us and invites us, though. Otherwise, I'm not going.
All right, Levin, that's the call out to you to call us to let us know that you want us to come out there. We'd love to hear from you, Levin. I'm sure all, let's see, how many people were there? 8,000 some are frequent, avid listeners to this program. And so all it'll take is one of you to say, hey, and you might be able to host us on your couch for the next 2 to 4 weeks. That being said, why don't we get on to the next round? Round 7.
Round 7. Round 7. Round 7. Round 7.
In round 7, we have unionism in Wales against the local favorite Cedar Lake, Wisconsin.
Oh, would you look at there? So we've got unionism in Wales, a political view that supports a political union between Wales and the other countries of the UK, facing off against a small town in Wisconsin whose motto is Cedar Lake, where everyone is friendly. Let's see if that friendliness will be the right approach here in this round of the Ultimate Tournament of Everything.
Let's start, of course, with the history of unionism in Wales. Edward I of England conquered Wales in 1283, and the royal ordinance of the Statute of Rhuddlan in 1284 annexed Wales to England. Henry VII then introduced the Laws and Wales Acts in 1535 and 1542, making the Welsh citizens of the realm and giving them representation in Parliament for the first time. These acts also abolished the Welsh legal system of Hywel Da, and the Welsh language could not be used for official purposes. The laws also defined the England-Wales border for the first time, and the Marcher lordships and Principality of Wales, divided by conquest, were reunited.
So it's a portion. Wales is a portion of what, the island of. How does that even work? The island of Britain is that how that goes? Um, it's they went in there and they took over another thing, just like they had done with Scotland. Speaking of Scotland, though, this is an idea where, okay, so should Wales be its own thing? Should it, just be another part of the UK, et cetera, et cetera? Um, it's a debate that's been going on and on. Even in Wales itself, support in Wales for the Union has historically showed majority polling, in part due to the country's strong economic and cultural links to England, with which it shares a long border, as well as the traditional dominance of the pro Union Labour Party in Wales' most heavily industrialized areas. While there was growth in nationalist sentiment, there was little appetite for home rule and independence in Wales during the 19th and early 20th centuries, at a time when independence movements in Ireland and Scotland were gaining support. Support for the Union has since declined somewhat, reflecting the political inroads made by pro-independence Plaid Cymru. I'm not sure what that is, but it's a center left to left wing Welsh nationalist political party in Wales.
Well, this tells you all you need to know about my understanding of the UK geography. I thought Wales was already its own place, but I guess it's like a state. That's like saying Indiana is its own thing, right? It kind of is, but it's kind of not. Also, it's Indiana.
Well, I mean, all of those and Scotland, and they're all separate places, but they're all also together. Can I just move on from all of that and point out the most important thing that's on this entire article?
Yeah, for sure. Is it
The
the guy with the
Wales
horse?
flag has a dragon on it.
Oh, that is awesome.
It is sick.
Yeah, you
It
should.
is sick. The Union Jack is cool and all. Like it looks kind of cool, but like, it ain't no dragon.
No?
It's got a long tail
Yeah,
and a long tongue.
look at that
Oh my
dragon.
gosh,
That's what That's what you guys need more of across the pond. More dragons.
more dragons!
dragons.
Bring it on, y'all. I don't want to be dragging this round out, but we should probably get over to our other competitor, Cedar Lake, Wisconsin, the town in Barron County in the United States state of Wisconsin.
There are about 1,076 people there as of 2020, so there could be more, there could be less. I guess we'll never know. The Ojibwe were among the first people to inhabit this area, and in the late 1860s, the town developed from a logging industry. S.A. Jewett Company established 2 logging camps there in 1875, and Knapp Stout and Company purchased the S.A. Jewett Company and continued logging the area until 1900.
Very small town here. Town of Cedar Lake occupies the northeast county of Barron County, or the northeast corner of Barron County. Red Cedar Lake is in the eastern part of the town, running north-south. It is in, they say that Wisconsin is the true mitten state. So, okay, everybody, put up your left mitten. You're holding it up there, and it's pretty much at the big knuckle of your ring finger, I would say, within the mitten, contained within the mitten. Somewhere around there, maybe in between the 2 knuckles of the finger there. So northish, westish,
Okay,
central,
hang on, hang on,
almost.
hang on, hang on, hang on. What's the big knuckle on your hand? Isn't the big knuckle the one like your where your finger attaches to your hand? That's your big knuckle,
Well, that's not
right?
really a knuckle, is it?
Yeah, it's a knuckle.
All right, well, then the phalange.
Oh,
Is it a phalange as
that's what your
well?
finger is called.
Well, what's a carpal?
All of our science teachers, we are sorry. Okay, anyway, we got distracted. There
All
are
right, well, all I'm saying is
395
it's in
households here.
Wisconsin.
It's in Wisconsin.
We have
You-
households? We have a
Yeah,
household
yeah,
number?
395.
Cedar Lake, Wisconsin for the win.
Right there. Right there. You
Because
don't
I
want
want to support those type of statistics. And I feel like if we don't reward such, I mean, shall we say diligence, then it's just going to get lost by the wayside. We studied we visited 2 Albanian places and 2 Italian, one of them which shall not be mentioned, and none of
to
those have included household numbers for any reason. So
say no more.
The ultimate tournament of everything.
If you're listening and live in Cedar Lake and you have wonderful fishing up there, invite me.
yeah, he's a terrible fisher. He's really struggling. He hasn't caught anything in a long, 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 long time. And if you think you can help him, you probably still can't. So let's just go ahead and move on to round 8.
I say, would you by chance have any round 8?
Round 8!
In round 8, we have Tichkala against James Quinn, footballer, born 1974.
Couple of ballers in this round. We've got a genus of Helkianelid from the Middle Cambrian facing off against a former professional football player, a forward in this instance, a scorer. Let's see if they're able to net some points against this ancient species.
Tichkala is a strongly spiraled, smooth shell with concentric ridges that have low relief. Other than its looser coiling, it's very similar to Protowanella. This is a fossil. Yes.
Yeah, probably what you're picturing. Any number of small, pointy shells that you may have found at the beach. This thing probably could have fit into. It fits right into this round and somewhere in the evolution of all the species that exist today. Let's see where our other contestant fits in the evolution of all that is sport.
James Stephen Quinn, born the 15th of December 1974, is a former professional footballer, a forward. His final club was Northampton Town, and he played for numerous clubs in his career and was also a Northern Ireland international. And he is currently assistant manager at Solihull Moors.
Not only was he a successful footballer, let's see, he would also be a coach. He had a whole long career. Doesn't it seem as though he rose to the highest echelons, but there's just a lot here. He scored points. He won some games. He lost some games. He played from 1992 to 2007 in his senior career. Couple things of note, though: 75 goals total in that span of time, 36 of which came in the 5 years between 1993 and 1998. That was really his golden period as a forward, scoring points. A bit of a resurgence from 2002 to 2005. Other than that, it appears that most of those stretches were rather middling.
Yeah, it sounds, he had a great early career, and then as generally happens in sport, you become a very reliable person who doesn't score as many goals, right? Unless you're Tom Brady, and then I don't understand how that one works. But he's now officially retired, right? Right? Tom Brady's right? I guess we'll never know. Depending on when you're listening, maybe he's out of retirement and playing again. The world may never understand. But this guy, we do understand. He was 6'1". He played striker. He's currently 48, and it sounds like he had a great career and is now moving into the next phase of sport, coaching.
That's right. He took up coaching after the end of his playing days and passed part one of the UEFAA license in 2009 and 10. He was coaching youth football in Princeton, New Jersey. He returned to England to become a scout. In the summer of 2015, he joined the National League team. Um, the Tranmere Rovers as a first team coach under the new manager Gary Brabin. Following a short spell coaching in America, he returned to England, and in August 2018, he was appointed as the first team coach at National League club Hill Moors, working alongside Tim Flowers, where he, I'm assuming, is to this day.
Well, there we go. Now we have to decide the one that wasn't or the one that is, the fossil or the footballer.
James Quinn, again, two first names, whereas Ticachella sounds like a Middle Cambrian music festival. And so I think I'm going to go with the one that sounds like it rocks and, in fact, became a rock being fossilized. My vote goes to Ticachella.
The ultimate tournament of everything.
You didn't have me, and then you had a Coachella joke. So I'm in. Ticachella,
Right.
your music to our ears. Just
Yeah,
like
I felt good about it.
round 9.
It's about time for round 9.
Round 9.
In round 9, we have Ryu Soo Young against Carrie Greenwood.
Okay, we have a bunch of people who, basically know how to present themselves and stories well. We've got a South Korean actor facing off against an Australian author and lawyer. Let's see which one of these is going to make their case for victory here in the ultimate tournament of everything.
Now, Ryu Soo Young is actually Eo Nam Seun. He was born September 5th, 1979, and he's a South Korean actor. He made his first appearance on the television as a college student in a cooking show, and then starred in the controversial film Summertime. This was followed by supporting roles in TV dramas such as Successful Story of a Bright Girl, Save the Last Dance for Me, and Lawyers of the Great Republic, Korea.
He, as I believe all South Koreans are inclined to do, or mandated to do, he had his mandatory military service, member of the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency from 2008 to 10. But after his discharge, he returned to television in the romantic comedy My Princess and the popular family drama Okagyo Family. In 2013, he joined the reality variety show Real Men, in which male celebrities visit army bases and experience daily life there. He's also played a detective chasing a fugitive in 2 weeks.
Not only has he been in a lot of things, he's won a lot of awards. By the count here, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 awards, including New Star Award and Best Supporting Actor. He even won Star of the Year in 2013.
Wow, that's very impressive. Star of the year. And, the only thing that could make him more of a star is to give a little bit of that back, huh? In March of 2022, he made a donation of 1 million. Is that an upside down bridge?
I don't think
Is that
that's,
is that the Whataburger?
I don't think that's
emblem?
what they call it. I don't think they call it upside down bridge. The South Korean won is the official
Oh, I
currency
see
of
that.
South Korea. It's a won.
Well, he won in my book, at least in the doing of giving 100 million of those to the Hope Bridge Disaster Relief Association, along with Park Ha-soon, to help those who have been damaged by the massive wildfire that started in Uljin and has continued to spread. At the time of this writing, we've got some filmography here in a bunch of television series, web shows, radio shows, music videos. He's got a bunch of awards, including a state honor given by the Minister of Culture, Sport, and Tourism, a commendation from that office in 2020, uh, assumably for their outstanding performance in Korean art. But speaking of art and performance, let's get over to this author lawyer from Australia, Carrie Greenwood.
She's written many plays and books, most notably a string of historical detective novels centered on the character of Phryne Fisher. Phryne? Phryne Fisher, maybe? Which was adapted as the popular television series Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. She writes mysteries, science fiction, historical fiction, children's stories, and plays, and has even earned the Australian Women's Crime Fiction David Award in 2002 for her young adult novel, The Three-Pronged Dagger.
She grew up in Melbourne's suburb of Footscray, where she still lives today. She attended Geelong Road State School, now Footscray. They went from Geelong to Footscray. I love the names in Australia. They're so fun. And she went to university. She did all of those things, and then she started her career. In 1982, Greenwood was admitted as barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Victoria and worked full time as a criminal defense lawyer for Victoria Legal Aid until becoming a professional writer. Since that time, she's remained a locum duty solicitor for legal aid, practicing in the Sunshine Magistrates Court. She began writing books at 16 but remained unpublished until 1988. She entered one of her 8 novels for the Vogel Prize. Although not successful, one of the judges offered her a contract for 2 detective novels.
Now, you're missing the most important part of this entire article. She's apparently married to a wizard. So that's interesting. Greenwood lives with it says wizard in quotes, the mathematician and author David Grieg. And I had to go out to the Wikipedia machine to find more about David Grieg, and I can't find anything. But apparently that man practicing witch. Oh, okay, I found a picture. Okay, let me describe it using my words.
Also, send me the link because I'm curious, and I'm sure our listeners would love to. Just put it in the spreadsheet here.
In the spreadsheet here. Okay, here we
Anywhere.
go. There. You're red. There you are. Here you go. There it is. So this man is standing in what looks like a.
Oh yeah, let's go.
He's standing in front of some glass doors, and he is behind a podium, lectern, I guess more appropriately, with a microphone, and he is wearing a black wizard's robe with a bunch of gold decoration, a wizard's hat. He looks like Dumbledore in the midlife of his life. His beard's not quite as long, but he's got the white hair, the white beard. It's got not a crazy long beard, but it's there. He is holding a staff covered in ribbon with a fake parrot on top. This man is a wizard. He's a wizard, Harry. He's a wizard.
He's also standing. Did you notice that the door he's standing in front of has a poster on it for the Wizard of Oz
and the Avengers?
and the Avengers? This guy and that look in his eyes.
He's casting a spell.
He put a spell on me, and now I'm his. I'm telling you right now. This is a magical man. Yeah, I am all about that.
Yeah,
there's a picture of Carrie here, and I mean, like, you know what? Does she not kind of look like a type of person who would end up with a wizard?
Hang on. So I was clicking around some more. We're out of Wikipedia now, but I have to tell all of you. I found an article. The Christchurch City Council is ending its contract with the official wizard of New Zealand. I don't understand. New Zealand, you have wizards? What is going on down there? Okay, time. You know what? We have to pick a winner. He's not part of the article. Only she is. And I don't think
she married him.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
a great decision.
That's true.
You can't fault her like decision making. Look, if you have the choice to marry a wizard, like I 10 out of 10 times,
yeah,
you take
okay,
that choice.
Okay, I can't.
I'm just saying I respect her for it.
Yeah. Well, we have to pick a winner. Is that your vote?
Yep.
It's good enough for me.
Roosung Young. Yep. I think we're gonna have to go with Carrie Greenwood. Gosh.
The ultimate tournament of everything.
It
If you
need
find yourself in Australia needing legal representation or magical help of any sort, I definitely recommend that you look up this power couple. Can we call them at least a power couple for real? Carrie Greenwood, she'll write you a great story. She'll get you off your charges. And when you come back, maybe there'll be some dancing brooms causing havoc in their home. So, hey, we did it.
we made it through an episode, rusty as we may have been, but you know what? It was fun. We're glad you were here. And if you want to listen to us do this 51 other times, we have older episodes. And if you want to listen to us do it an infinite number more, we'll probably keep doing this.
Yeah, we have to, because if we don't do it, no one's gonna do it. And if it don't get done, then nothing did. So I hope you join us next time for us doing this in another iteration of doing it and do go for to be. The tournament of everything.
What is the synced outro?
The ultimate tournament of everything.